You're sitting on the couch, scrolling through your phone, and you download Candy Crush, or Clash of Clans, or whatever the hot free game is right now. And you're thinking, hey, this is great. I'm getting a full game for free. I'm never going to pay for anything in this. 3 months later, you look at your credit card statement, and there's $47 in charges from the App Store. And you think, wait, how did that happen? I was just buying a few gems here and there, maybe some extra lives. It was only 99 cents each time. Here's the thing. That's not an accident. That game wasn't free. It was specifically designed, engineered really, to make you spend way more than $60. And the craziest part, it's working so well that Candy Crush makes more money in a year than Call of Duty, Zelda, and God of War combined. And we're not talking a little more. We're talking about a free mobile game making $1.5 billion per year. My name is Jojo, and I spend way too much time thinking about how the gaming industry has figured out how to extract more money from free games than they ever could by charging you up front. If you're someone who's ever downloaded a free game and somehow ended up spending money on it, or if you've got kids who are asking for just $5 for their game, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out.
Because what I'm about to show you isn't just about mobile games. It's about understanding how businesses use psychology, addiction mechanics, and something called variable reward schedules, which is just fancy talk for slot machine tactics, to separate you from your money in ways that feel voluntary but are actually incredibly manipulative.
In 2022, Candy Crush Saga, a game you can download for free right now, made $1.5 billion in revenue. Billion with a B. For comparison, God of War Ragnarok, one of the biggest releases of the year, made around $500 million. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom made about $1 billion. Even Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the biggest shooter franchise in the world, made roughly $1 billion in its first month. So, a free Match 3 puzzle game about lining up candy is making more money than these massive $60, $70 AAA games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to develop. And Candy Crush isn't even the top earner. Honor of Kings, a mobile game most people in the US have never heard of, made $2.45 billion in a single year. PUBG Mobile made $2.8 billion. Genshin Impact? $4 billion since launch. The entire mobile gaming industry makes over $100 billion per year. That's more than console gaming and PC gaming combined. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but that's because way more people play mobile games, right? It's just volume. And yeah, that's part of it. But here's what most people don't realize. The average person who pays for a traditional $60 game spends exactly $60, maybe $80 if they buy some DLC. But in free-to-play mobile games, the average paying player, and this is the key word, paying player, not just anyone who downloads it, the average paying player spends $87 per year on a single game. And that's the average, which means a lot of people spend way, way more than that. Look, here's where it gets really interesting and kind of dark. Free-to-play games don't make money from most of their players. In fact, about 97–98% of people who download a free game never spend a single dollar. They play for free forever. A study by Swerve found that 0.15% of mobile gamers, that's 15 out of every 10,000 players, generate 50% of all revenue. These people are spending an average of $550 per month. That's $6,600 per year on one game. And then there's the ultra whales, people spending $10,000, $50,000, even $100,000 on a single mobile game. There are documented cases of people spending over $1 million on Game of War. One guy in Singapore spent $1 million on Clash of Clans. Think about that business model. You make a free game, you let 98% of people play for free, and you design the entire experience to find, hook, and extract maximum money from the 2% who are vulnerable to the psychological tricks you've built in. It's not a game anymore. It's a whale hunting operation. All right, so how do they do it? How does a free game get someone to spend $10,000? The answer is they use the exact same psychological mechanisms that casinos use to keep people at slot machines.
Except mobile games can be even more manipulative because they're not regulated like gambling is.
First, variable reward schedules. This is straight out of B.F. Skinner's research on operant conditioning.
If you reward someone randomly, they become more addicted to the behavior than if you reward them consistently.
Slot machines work this way. You pull the lever, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But you never know when the next win is coming, so you keep pulling. Mobile games do the exact same thing with loot boxes, gotcha mechanics, and random drops.
You open a chest, you might get something amazing, you might get garbage, but that variable reward keeps you opening chests.
And eventually you run out of free chests, so you buy more. Second, loss aversion. Humans hate losing more than they love winning. Psychologically, losing $10 feels worse than winning $10 feels good. Mobile games exploit this by giving you streaks. You've logged in 47 days in a row. Don't break your streak. So you log in even when you don't want to play, because losing that streak feels like losing something valuable, even though it's completely worthless. Or they give you a building that takes 24 hours to upgrade unless you pay to speed it up. You've already invested hours into this base. Walking away now feels like wasting all that time. So you pay the $4.99 to keep progressing. Third, anchoring and price manipulation. Here's a trick mobile games use constantly. They make the good deal look amazing by showing you terrible deals first. The game offers you 100 gems for 99 cents, 500 gems for $4.99, or 5,000 gems for $49.99. Mathematically, that last option is the best value. You're getting more gems per dollar. So it feels like a smart purchase. But here's the thing, the gems aren't worth anything. The developer made up the prices. They could give you infinite gems for free if they wanted. But by showing you the 99-cent option first, they've anchored your brain to think of gems as having a dollar value. And suddenly, $49.99 seems reasonable for virtual currency that costs them nothing to create. Fourth, social pressure. Mobile games are increasingly social. Your friends are playing. Your guild or clan depends on you. You're competing in leaderboards. If everyone in your guild is spending money to level up, and you're not, you feel like you're letting the team down. So you spend $10, then $20, then more.
Games like Clash of Clans literally show you when your clanmates are online and what they've bought. It creates peer pressure to spend.
Fifth, kids don't understand money. And look, here's maybe the darkest part. A huge percentage of mobile game revenue comes from children who don't understand what money is. They see 1,000 gems for $9.99, and they don't process that as 10 real dollars that my parents worked for. They just see a number, and if their parent's credit card is connected to the device, it's one tap to buy. There are countless stories of kids racking up thousands of dollars in charges because they didn't understand they were spending real money. The game just asked, "Do you want more gems?" and they tapped yes. Apple and Google have added parental controls, but the default is still purchases enabled. You have to know to turn it off. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does this actually make more money than just charging $60 up front? Let me show you the math. Traditional $60 game. Let's say you make a AAA game. Development costs $100 million. Marketing costs another $50 million. So you need to break even at $150 million. At $60 per copy, and the developer only gets about $42 after retailer cuts and platform fees, you need to sell 3.57 million copies just to break even. If you sell 10 million copies, which is a huge success, you make $420 million in revenue. Minus the $150 million in costs, you profit $270 million. Free-to-play mobile game. Now let's say you make a mobile game. Development costs $5 million.
because you don't need expensive graphics or voice acting.
Marketing costs $10 million. Total investment $15 million. You release it for free. You get 10 million downloads, same as the AAA game's sold copies. But now, 98% of players, 9.8 million, spend $0. They're freeloaders from a revenue perspective. 2% of players, 200,000, are paying customers. Of those 200,000, let's say they spend an average of $87 per year, the actual industry average. That's 200,000 times $87 equals $17.4 million in year one. But wait, remember the whales. Let's say 0.15% of your 10 million players, 15,000 people, spend an average of $550 per month. That's $6,600 per year each. 15,000 times $6,600 equals $99 million from whales alone. So your total revenue is $17.4 million plus $99 million equals $116.4 million in the first year. And here's the key difference. The $60 game is a one-time purchase. Once someone buys it, you're done extracting money from them, unless you sell DLC. But the mobile game? It keeps making money year after year. Players who are hooked will keep spending. The game can run for 5, 10 years, constantly generating revenue from the same players. Candy Crush launched in 2012. It's been making over $1 billion per year for a decade now. That's over $10 billion from one game. No $60 game in history has done that.
Let me walk you through the specific tactics these games use so you can recognize them.
Energy systems. You get 5 lives. Each life refills after 30 minutes.
But if you run out, you can either wait 2.5 hours or pay 99 cents for 5 more lives right now. The game is fun. You're on a roll. You're about to beat this level. Waiting 2.5 hours feels like torture, so you pay the $1.
Pay to skip waiting. Your building takes 24 hours to upgrade, or you can pay $4.99 and have it instantly.
You've got 10 buildings upgrading. That's $50 to skip 1 day of waiting.
Limited time offers. Special offer. 5,000 gems for $19.99. Only available for the next 3 hours.
Urgency removes your ability to think rationally. You're not deciding, is this worth $20? You're deciding, do I buy it now or lose this deal forever? Just one more. The loot box costs $2.99. You open it and get something mediocre. But you see someone else on the leaderboard got the legendary item, so you buy one more, and one more, and one more. This is literally slot machine psychology. Just one more pull, and you might win. Pay for competitive advantage. You're playing against other people. The person who spends money has better troops, stronger weapons, faster progression. You're losing because they paid, so you either accept being crushed or you pay to compete. It's pay to win, which game developers will deny, but it's true. Here's what really bothers me about this entire system. If you go to a casino in Las Vegas, there are regulations. You have to be 21. The games have to be fair. The odds have to be posted. The casino has to have enough money on hand to pay out winnings. There are counselors for gambling addiction. But mobile games? They have none of that.
A 7-year-old can download a game with loot boxes, which are literally slot machines, and start gambling. No age verification, no regulation, no disclosure of odds. Until recently, and even now it's minimal.
Some countries are starting to crack down. Belgium and the Netherlands have banned loot boxes entirely, classifying them as gambling. Japan requires disclosure of odds. China limits how much minors can spend. But in the US, barely any regulation. The game companies self-regulate through the ESRB, which is like asking casinos to regulate themselves. And the result is that we have an entire generation of kids being conditioned to think of gambling mechanics as normal parts of games. All right, so here's what you need to know to protect yourself and your kids from these predatory systems. First, recognize the manipulation. If a game is free, you're not the customer, you're the product. The game is designed to find the 2% of people who are vulnerable to these psychological tricks and extract as much money as possible from them. Every single design decision, the energy systems, the timers, the loot boxes, the limited time offers, all of it is there to manipulate you into spending. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Second, set a hard spending limit. If you're going to play free-to-play games, decide upfront, I will spend $0 or I will spend $10 per month maximum.
Treat it like you would any entertainment budget. You wouldn't go to a casino without deciding how much you're willing to lose. Don't play mobile games without deciding how much you're willing to spend. And stick to it. The second you break your rule, you've proven to the game's algorithms that you're a potential whale, and it'll turn up the manipulation.
Third, remove your credit card. On iOS, Settings, Screen Time, Content and Privacy Restrictions, iTunes and App Store purchases, Require Password, Always Require.
On Android, Google Play Store, Settings, Require Authentication for Purchases, for all purchases. Make it so every purchase requires your password. This adds friction, and friction makes you stop and think, do I really want to spend $5 on gems? Fourth, turn off notifications. Games send you notifications designed to bring you back in. Your energy is full. Your building is done. Your clan needs you. Every notification is an attempt to re-hook you. Turn them all off. Fifth, if you have kids, enable parental controls. Don't just assume purchases are disabled. Go into the settings and actually turn them off. Better yet, don't connect a payment method to their device at all. If they want to buy something, they have to ask you, and you have to manually approve it. Sixth, ask yourself, would I pay $60 for this game? If the answer is no, then don't spend anything on it. The game is only worth it because it's free. Once you start spending, you're paying for a game you wouldn't have bought if it cost money up front. And if you've already spent more than $60 on a free game, stop. You've already paid more than a full-priced game costs. You don't owe them more. Look, here's what really bothers me about this entire system. It's regressive.
The people spending thousands of dollars on mobile games aren't wealthy. Wealthy people have better things to do with their time and money.
The whales are disproportionately people with addiction issues, mental health problems, or poor impulse control. They're people who can't afford to spend that money, but are being manipulated into doing it anyway.
There are stories of people going into debt, ruining relationships, losing their jobs because they're spending so much time and money on mobile games.
And the game companies know this. They track everything. They know exactly who the whales are, they know which players are vulnerable, and they tune the game's systems to extract maximum money from those specific players.
It's predatory, and it's legal.
The only reason it continues is because it's so profitable. Candy Crush makes $1.5 billion per year. King, the company that makes it, isn't going to voluntarily give up that revenue.
The only way this changes is regulation, and regulation only happens when enough people understand what's going on and demand change. So the next time you download a free game, remember, it's not free. You're either going to pay with your money, or you're going to be part of the 98% that subsidizes the experience for the whales while the company tries to convert you. The game is designed, engineered really, to make you spend more than you would on a $60 game.
It uses slot machine psychology, addiction mechanics, and social pressure to separate you from your money in a way that feels voluntary, but is actually incredibly manipulative.
You're not weak if you fall for it. These systems are designed by teams of psychologists and data scientists whose entire job is to figure out how to make you spend. They're really, really good at it. But now you know how it works. You know what to look for. You know the tricks.
Don't let them get you.
If this video helped you understand how free-to-play games are actually the most expensive games you'll ever play, hit that subscribe button because I make videos like this every week breaking down how companies use psychology and math to extract money from you and how to protect yourself. And look, if you've ever spent money on a free mobile game, or if you know someone who spent way too much, drop a comment below. Tell me which game got you, how much you spent, and whether you regret it. I read every comment, and I'm genuinely curious how many people watching this have been caught by these systems.
Thanks for watching JoJo Invests.